Welcome and welcome back everybody, Tia here, and in today's video we'll do a brief tutorial on the Railroad Inc. Futuristic expansion pack. This little expansion includes 3 unique mini expansions, which are the Super Connection die, the Alien Farmer die, and the City Builder dice. Let's start off by taking a look at our Super Connections die expansion. This is considered an easy level expansion and reduces the total number of rounds in the game from 7 down to 6. Each round, in addition to rolling your 4 white base game dice, you'll add the Super Connection die, and it is mandatory to draw all die faces, including the Super Connection die face. This has a new type of route called a super connection, represented by the zigzag line, and super connections always end in super stations, which can connect to any type of route, highways, railways, or other super connections. So you can see here that there are different configurations. On my board, I've drawn this 3-way intersection of a station between the railroad, the highway, and the super connection, which then connects down to another super connection and eventually into a railroad, although it could have just as easily connected to a highway. At the end of the game for scoring, there is no specific special scoring for your super connections. However, they do help to connect various exits. So on this board, we have 1, 2, 3 exits connected. And they also extend your longest highway and your longest railway. So our longest railway here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, including the super connection dice. And our longest highway is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next up, let's take a look at our Alien Farmer die expansion. This is considered an easy expansion and reduces the total number of rounds from 7 down to 6. When playing with the Alien Farmer die, you'll add it to the 4 white base game dice that are rolled at the beginning of each round. However, unlike those base game dice, it is optional as to whether or not you draw the result that's rolled on the Alien Farmer die. It features several die faces, including a UFO, as well as various routes and stations containing sheep. These die faces can be placed in any open space on your board. So you can see here that this railroad is not limited to connecting to a pre-existing route. However, you do still have to follow the rule of not having non-matching routes connected. So I could not connect this railroad to any space that has a highway butting up to it. Additionally, when drawing special routes throughout the game, you can instead choose to draw a UFO on a space instead of using that special route. So that's up to 3 times per base game, or if you're playing with Railroading Challenge and get the University bonus, you can do that up to 4 times. At the end of the game, your UFOs are going to be worth points based on the number of sheeps in their rows and columns. So here we have a UFO that has 0 sheep in its column and 1 sheep in its row. Each sheep will be worth 2 points, so this UFO is worth a total of 2 points. This UFO down here has 2 sheep in its column and 1 sheep in its row for a total of 6 points, or 8 points for both of my UFOs for endgame scoring. Next, let's take a look at our City Builder expansion. This is considered a medium difficulty expansion and will maintain the full complement of 7 rounds when playing. For this expansion, you are going to add the 2 unique City Builder dice to your 4 white base game dice. At the beginning of each round, you'll roll all 6 dice. However, the city building dice will not come into effect until after you've drawn all 4 of your routes. So for this particular example, we're going to say that we've already drawn our routes for this round. The first thing you're going to do is take a look at your first city building dice, which will give you income or coins. Coins are tracked by the number of spaces above your exits, so you can only have up to 12 coins from round to round. One of the die faces you may see is this one here. This means that you will generate 1 coin per middle space you have filled in, including buildings and routes. So if that were the case, we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coins that we would cross off up on our charts. Another die face that you may see is this one. This die face will provide you with 1 coin per connected exit in your largest route. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and again, that's only going to be your largest route, not all routes combined. Another die face that you may see is this one. This will provide you with 2 coins per space that contains a building, not the number of buildings. So in this case, we have 1, 2, 3 spaces that contain buildings, which would be a total of 5 coins when we add our 2 coin bonus. And the most common die face on this, with 3 of the 6 sides, which will give you 1 coin per adjacent connected route that you've drawn this round. So let's say that these are the die faces I rolled for this round. I'm going to look at my number of connected routes that I drew in this round. I have 1 that I drew over here, as well as my 3 other white base game dice, and a special route, which does count towards this bonus. So I would receive 1, 2, 3, 4 coins, which I'm going to go ahead and mark off up at the top of my board. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, that does include special routes that were drawn in this round, provided that they are connected via highways, railways, and/or stations. The next thing we're going to do is be able to draw buildings based on the amount of coins that we have. So there's a die face that shows 1 building for 3 coins, 2 buildings for 5 coins, or 3 buildings for 7 coins. For this example, I'm going to show you how the single building works for 3 coins. We can do this action as many times as we wish, provided that we have the coins for it. So let's say that I want to draw a single building over here for 3 coins. I'll simply just draw that on my board very beautifully, as you can tell, and we'll erase our income. I now have 4 coins, so I could actually do this one more time, and I think that I will. Buildings can be placed on any empty space, so that means that you cannot add them to spaces that already have buildings on them. And I have 1 coin left over going into the next round. For endgame scoring, each building, not necessarily just the space, but each individual building that you have drawn will be worth 1 point. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points worth of buildings. Another important thing to keep in mind for endgame scoring is that open ends that lead into building spaces, such as this one here, will not receive a penalty of -1 point at the end of the game. So that's how you play the 3 mini expansions provided in the Railroad Inc. Futuristic expansion pack. Let me know in the comments down below which of these 3 expansions is most interesting to you, or if you've tried them out, which one you enjoy the most. If you liked this video or found it helpful in any way, please feel free to leave a like. You can also subscribe down below for more board game content. Thank you so much again for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye!